morning, since because they're pretty too messy here and all. It's time for another deck report. Let's start off with Kickstarter.com, which is by bucks. All three of them. It's their version of Kickstarter, which is not doing very well at all. Right now they got a deck on there. It's actually a set of 2 decks. Well, you can get either or, but it's an Alice of Wonderland typography type deck by Design Studio Turnstile. Not a whole lot of design in it. It's a very minimalist typographic deck with letters for chord cards and just pips. Even the jokers don't have a whole lot of art. If there even is, I can't even tell. But I'm not even sure if there is jokers. But they do have metallic inks printed by USB-C, I believe. I would just think that a design studio would be able to, you know, do a little more design instead of a minimalist deck. So far, they're at about $7,000, which is halfway of their goal with 21 days left. The only thing that sucks about this project that's on Kickstarter now is that they're using Tilt, and apparently you can't tell who is pledging for it, so Dan and Dave and their brother could mysteriously back the project and get it funded, and we wouldn't know, at least from what I can tell, which is not good. But as of right now, it's not doing too good. Moving along to Card Launcher, there is a supposedly coming soon a sketchy deck, but I haven't seen that one yet. No idea what the holdup is. They're supposed to release a new deck every 2 weeks on Card Launcher, and that hasn't happened. And so far, the 4 decks they have aren't doing all that well. There's the Good Deck and Evil Deck by Giovanni, which is currently 49% funded with 13 days to go. Not looking good. They got the Canadiana deck by my friend Phil DaCosta, which is funded. 13 days left. It's 112% funded. That being said, it's just over $1,000, and the goal is only $1,000. So that's not particularly doing that well. But at least it's funded, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy to get that one in my hands. And then there's the Brimstone playing cards by Gambler's Warehouse. There's a new aqua colored one, and there's also a reprint of the original red one. 13 days left, 39% funded. It's doing the worst out of all of them. And then there's the Venexiana Dark Edition. 13 days left. It's 47% funded and not looking good. And this is the limited edition one. They still haven't even released the unlimited edition one that I know of. The whole thing is not good for Card Launcher. It started off and it was kind of like boom. I mean, they had all this promotion for cardlauncher.com for weeks. The original launch was supposed to be at the beginning of August. That didn't happen. Then it was supposed to be on like August the 15th, and the whole thing just went kaboom. And the whole website did not do good. There was all sorts of issues. PayPal is still being an issue, and apparently that's causing a lot of people to not back projects. And I think a bigger issue is just that it's people are used to Kickstarter, and they're on Kickstarter, and it's a lot of hassle to sign up for another website, I guess, and especially one that people aren't that familiar with and aren't too sure about, and may have security issues with, especially since it's not PayPal or Amazon. And then you got these decks that now, after all this time, they're just not funding. They don't have the backers, they don't have the supporters. It's not doing a whole lot better than Dan and Dave's Deckstarter.com, and that one's only getting funded because Dan and Dave have been backing the projects, as has their brother Justin. They've all been showing the support behind these projects, and that to me in their case, is not good. But anyways, let's move on to Kickstarter. First of all, there is the Bicycle Blue Collar Playing Cards by Collectible Playing Cards. By the way, if you go to collectibleplayingcards.com and use the code VJOSE32, you get 10% off each and every order. So make sure you go do that right now. Well, after this video. This one is 49% funded with 32 days to go. It's a lower goal, so it might actually make it. They also have a stretch goal for a white collar deck, which is going to be a red colored version of the deck with different court cards. Looks pretty awesome. I don't know if they're going to reach that stretch goal though at this rate. Then there is the Aves, I think that's how you pronounce it, Bicycle Playing Cards by Lux Playing Cards, which is a bird themed deck illustrated by a Russian girl. It is well funded with 22 days remaining. Then there's this new deck by Make Playing Cards, which is the Impressions Playing Cards, which apparently features a raised gloss effect, giving it a really embossed look. It looks like the art actually comes off, is raised off of the faces, which I don't know how that's going to be for handling, but it's definitely unique and different. It's extremely well funded, almost 500% funded with 35 days to go. That's doing very well. It's very unique. Then there's the Bicycle Panthera by Collectible Playing Cards. 3 days left. It is well funded. Then there's the EC Playing Cards by YouTuber Everything Cards. 8 days left. 26% funded. Not going to happen, I don't think. Then there's the Rongo Playing Cards, which is a relaunch of their previous campaign, which was previously a Bicycle USB-C deck. Now it's by Legends, I believe, and it's currently 87% funded with 14 days to go. It's really slowed down. It probably will get funded. I'm a backer myself, so I kind of hope so. And I mean, they only need $2,000 in 14 days. It's definitely feasible. And it's a Kickstarter staff pick, so that helps. It's being printed actually by Expert Playing Cards. However, if they get enough funding, they'll probably do USB-C. But currently, they got 3 different decks. Actually, a whole bunch of different decks. They got the gold deck, which is blue and gold coloring. They got the black deck, which is black and gold. And then they got the gold deck, or the gilded edition, I should say, which is gold with gilded edges. Probably really limited. I'm not even sure how that would be from Expert Playing Cards, because I haven't seen a gilded deck from them yet. And then there is the Moai, I think that's how you pronounce it, Rongo limited edition decks. One of them is a limited gold, and the other is a special reserve gold. They're basically the same thing as the gold decks, except there's only 500 of the limited edition, and only 250 of the special reserve edition. Can anyone say cash grab? Because that's what I'm seeing. All I'm seeing is a different name on the front of the box, different art on the back of the box, very limited numbers, and exactly the same cards. Faces are the same, the backs are the same, they're exactly the same as the gold deck, just slightly different boxes. And to me, that's cash grab. And on top of that, you actually have to register and go outside of Kickstarter in order to pledge for these, which to me is sketchy and could be against Kickstarter policy. I'm not even sure how that works. That being said, let's move along. Next up is the Bicycle Steampunk Bandits from Gambler's Warehouse, which is doing very well, 250% funded. They have surpassed the stretch goals. They have unlocked a white deck. The original one was a black one. They've unlocked a limited edition unbranded colored deck, and they've unlocked mini versions of each deck. As a result, I've got a lot of money into this one now, unfortunately. I'm only getting one of each, but it's costing me like $80 or something. It's ridiculous. Overpriced, in my opinion. And that's all the stretch goals, I believe. And they actually unlocked the mini decks before hitting $2,500,000, which is pretty cool. 11 days left in this one, and it's all funded. Then there's the Bicycle Cthulhu Mythos. 12 days left, 45% funded. Not looking too good, in my opinion. If they had done these other boxes as either different color decks or limited edition special embossed foiled versions, it would do much better. But since the other boxes are just different colors and it's only the boxes, it's not appealing. And I've said that before and I'll say it again. Then there's the Ghostbusters playing cards by Eric Dahlman Albino Dragon. Well funded, 5 days left. I'm sure they expected to make a lot more than $15,000, but that's all they've gotten so far. Then there's this new deck called the Zombie Playing Cards by somebody called Zombie Dollar Creative. That name is not at all suspicious or anything like that. 33% funded, 28 days left. It's done by zombie artist Nick Holmes, apparently. Not like we haven't seen a million zombie decks on Kickstarter by now and elsewhere, but somebody decided they had to do one more. Not overly appealing. All the zombies, they got blood on their hands. And that's on the court cards. The background of the cards is just a bunch of skulls. That's on the number cards and the court cards. Surprise, the hearts actually kind of look like a heart. Maybe not really, but the court card, the pips are very bizarre. The back design is, now it's mirror image. It used to be a one-way design, but now it's mirror image. I still don't think it needs to have writing on the back design, but whatever. It's just a bunch of skulls basically with a thin red border, which doesn't match the faces at all, which are kind of gray. Apparently it's officially endorsed by the Department of Undead Defense, whatever the hell that is. Being printed by some no-name company on a 310 GSM stock, with, I'm guessing, a linen type finish, but I really don't know though. So yeah, and they are £8, so about 15, 14 bucks plus shipping, which isn't too bad, I guess. Moving along, we have the Castle and Kingdom playing cards. 5 days left, 14% funded. Not gonna happen. It's got a fantasy type theme to it. There's the Ace of Blades playing cards, which has got a knife throwing theme, which is really weird for cards. 13% funded, 16 days left. Not a chance in hell. There's the Celtic playing cards, number 2, Full Circle. 20% funded, 18 days left. They're not doing too good. I don't think it's going to make it. There's the Modern Fighter Plane Spotter playing cards, which is just a weird name. It's a modern twist, a classic design of spotter playing cards, which was used during World War II, apparently to help the Allied forces identify friends from foes. 30 days left in this one, 21% funded, not looking that good. There's the Coat of Arms and Dark Ages playing cards by Justin Freud, 88% funded with 15 days left. They do have a stretch goal of like $25,000 for a bicycle branded Bronze Age deck, which not a chance in hell it's going to happen, I don't think, at this rate. Then there's the Seasons playing cards. By the way, the current decks are going to be printed by Expert playing cards, I should mention. There's the Seasons playing cards. These ones are well funded with 16 days left. I suggest checking them out. There's the Bicycle Arcana playing cards, which has a whimsical theme, it says, a magical theme. 8 days left, 25% funded, not going to happen at this rate. A lot of decks not doing very well on Kickstarter for quite some time. Some doing very well, others not good at all. I'll try to speed this up. There is the Renaissance playing cards. 48% funded, 10 days to go. I predicted this a long time ago that wasn't going to happen. Then there's the deck of skeletons, vintage playing cards. 40% funded, 25 days left. This one might actually make it. It's got a skeleton and skull theme. I actually like how the 10 cards have an X, a Roman numeral for 10 instead of a number 10. It fits better with a royal flush. It no longer has 2 digits instead of 1 digit or letter. It has one letter instead of 2 in the number 10. And it's actually a good idea. It's probably the best idea in the whole deck. These ones are being printed on a 310 GSM stock with a linen finish by some unnamed company. The back design isn't extremely bad. I mean, it's not bad, except that it has blue borders and the faces are not blue. And then there's custom aces, and everything is custom. It's got a vintage style, and it's not bad. Limited numbers. The goal is very low. It's $6,000 goal, so it's not that low, but it's not going to be USB-C. In fact, that seems kind of high. And it's actually really pricey. $15 for one deck, and they only ship within the US. Apparently, he claims that shipping outside the US costs like $90 or something ridiculous, which is just simply not true. I've seen countless other projects that do not charge anywhere near that much for shipping internationally. None of them, actually. But his prices are expensive, and he does not ship outside the US, so I don't really care that much. Then there is the Twins Edition Refined Bicycle Playing Cards. It's now 82% funded with 10 days left. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Chick Track says it's trending towards like 10,000 pounds. Actually, sorry. And I don't know. It's been very slow going. Either way, I do not believe they're going to have enough money to print a black deck and a white deck. And I've tried to express that to the creator, and he's basically said, whatever. He says that it's not 2 designs, that's 2 color versions, and that they only need to print 2,500 decks total. But that's just not true, from what I understand, and from what I've seen. So, whatever, I'm not going to be a part of that fiasco. Don't come crying to me in a few months when the creator hasn't shipped you decks because he doesn't have any money. Then there is the Bicycle Smiley deck by this really smiley dude. Currently, it's doing horribly. $74 raised out of a $14,000 goal. And I could have told you that. They have 46 days to go, which is an extremely long campaign that is not going to get anywhere. It's a horrible deck of cards, in my opinion. The front of the box has a scary looking spade pip with monster looking smileys. And all the cards basically feature some kind of a weird, definitely looking hand-drawn smiley. It's all about happiness and positive in all directions, apparently. And actually, underneath the index, they have multiple pips. So if it's a 4, it's got 4 pips. Apparently, each one has different colors thrown into it. The back design is a one-way that features about 40 different smileys or something like that with enormous borders. And it's really weird when you look at a card like the 9 of clubs, and it has clubs all the way down one side, because that's where all the pips are. They're all underneath the index. And everything is one way from the back design to their faces. Horribly massive borders, and just a horrible execution of a deck. I already have a Bicycle Smiley deck, which is a gimmick as well, a gimmick deck. And it's a hell of a lot better than this one. And apparently they also have poker chips, two different types. Oh, poker chips and coins, yay. Which are locked. And they're going to remain locked because they're not going to reach their stretch goals. On top of that, he wants $15 for this deck, plus $12 shipping outside the US. If you get two decks, it's $18 shipping. So if you want two decks, it's going to cost you $46. Yeah. There's a lot of other products on Kickstarter that I've gotten two decks for $30 including shipping, or $35 including shipping. There is no freaking way in hell I'm going to pay $46 for two decks that look like that, or $27 for one deck. His price is extremely way over the top. Moving along, so it's currently 1% funded. There's not a chance in hell. There is the Wiretap playing cards by Dave Boyd. 11 days left, 23% funded, not looking good. Somebody has come up with this project, which is dry erase cards. They're 2.5 by 3.5 inch rectangles, double-sided, and you can use erasable markers to draw on them and whatever, and then erase them. The video in this project, it's not an actual deck of playing cards, but I thought I'd mention anyways, just because it's laughable. It's just, there's no effort into the video. It's just some chick drawing on these cards and then erasing them, and there's little effort in the whole thing. It's just dry erase cards, that's it. Yay. Is it gonna fund? I highly doubt it. Then there's the Army of Playing Cards by Jackson Robinson, well funded, 26 days still remain. There is the Interference Playing Cards by Mark Allender. These are going to be printed by USPC. Well, not really, because currently, with 28 days left, he's 3% funded, and not a whole lot of people on the forums or elsewhere are exactly overjoyed with these decks. He's previously done another campaign that featured 3 or 4 decks. One of them was similar. It's black. It's weird. It's just all sorts of things, and I just don't see it happening. It's a $15,000 goal. If there was a $1,500 goal, you might reach it. Probably would. But since he wants to try and do the USBC with $15,000, not a chance in hell, in my opinion. And then there is Sawdust Playing Cards by Emmanuel Jose. 11 days left, 80% funded. Should get funded. Then there is Rainbow Illusion Playing Cards by Landry Sanders. 32% funded, 10 days left. Not doing that good, even though it is a very nice deck of cards printed by Legends Playing Cards that I highly recommend you check out. It's very colorful, fun, unique, and I like it. And then there's the Kids deck by Magic House Publishing. 37 hours left, 14% funded. Not happening. I mentioned that a long time ago, because a $30,000 goal for 3 decks of cards that have a limited appeal is just not going to happen. If he had done a much lower goal, like he's got $4,000 right now, if he printed a minimum amount with make playing cards, raised $3,000 or $4,000, he would have been funded. But trying to make this a USPC deck with a $30,000 goal is just not going to happen. And then there is the Year of the Ram playing cards, which is next year, I guess, is the Year of the Ram. It looks like they got calendar on some of the cards. They got interesting court cards. The back design is absolutely awful. It just says 2015 Year of the Ram in multiple colors on a white back. It's absolutely horrible. One way. The idea, I think, is that they said is they put a lot of effort into the faces, and they just wanted the back design to just be whatever. Yeah, it's not going to happen. 24 days left, 8% funded. Very low chance of it getting funded. And yeah, $15,000 goal, it's just not going to happen. Then there is the decks of the Aftermath. It says 3 different weird decks. Currently 24 days left. It's 50% funded. It might actually get funded, but it's not USB-C or anything to really talk about. Anyway, I apologize for the long episode. It's been a while since I did an update. There's been quite a few launches on Kickstarter. A lot of other decks have either funded or failed, obviously. If I didn't mention it, you can probably guess which way it went based on the previous video. And that's that. That's what I got. Oh, I also mentioned coming soon from Collectible Playing Cards, the Bicycle Casino deck, which is pretty interesting looking. And that's that. I got more reviews coming soon. I gotta go work on that right now. See you next time.